Hello! Can you sit here?
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Hello. Oh, have fun. Good streaming. Hello. Bye.
Vai!
Cheers.
Oh mio Dio, ragazzi, clippate, vi prego. Mi ha dato... Scott Levy. Scott Levy, ragazzi, seguitelo. È fantastico. E questo è quello che succede alla BlizzCon, capite?
Ciao a tutti ragazzi e bentornati sul mio canale. Come potete vedere siamo ancora qua ad Anaheim, California per la BlizzCon 2018. In realtà la BlizzCon per me è finita perché tra poco andrò a vedere il concerto, insomma la cerimonia di chiusura, ma possiamo dire che ormai la fiera si è conclusa. Questa mattina, il 3 novembre, è successa veramente una cosa incredibile per me perché durante lo streaming che ho fatto dalla palco di Hearthstone della BlizzCon, quindi nella sezione dedicata agli streamer, ho avuto modo di fare un'ora e mezza di streaming e per un'ora Steven Chang, final designer di Hearthstone, è venuto insieme a me a giocare e anche a parlare insieme a me. Ho avuto modo di intervistarlo in diretta su Twitch, di fargli alcune domande che avevo intenzione di fargli io, ma anche che la chat su Twitch mi faceva. Quindi ragazzi, vi lascio con l'intervista. È stato tutto molto di getto, spero apprezziate. Capite anche che quando si intervista qualcuno bisogna intervistarlo anche in base a quello che fa. In particolare un final designer si assicura di far sì che le carte quando escono siano bilanciate, siano corrette e così via. Quindi tutte le domande che ho cercato di fargli sono prevalentemente inerenti al suo ruolo in Blizzard e ho cercato chiaramente di non fargli altre domande che potevo fare ad altre persone. Quindi io spero veramente che questo video vi piaccia e i prossimi giorni vi farò avere anche l'intervista del Kozak e Adisha Chamberlain e tantissimi altri contenuti sulla BlizzCon 2018. Detto questo, io vi lascio al video e buona visione.
Hi guys! Ciao ragazzi! Ok, sì. Ok guys, we have here Steven Chang. Ok, it's fine. We have here Steven Chang, final designer in Hearthstone, right?
Yep.
Can you please tell us just what is the final design?
Oh, sure. So final design is focused on making sure the cards for the collectible set are ready to ship. And so when we work on a set, the initial design team comes up with the basic theme of the set, the basic mechanics, and all of the cards, and then they hand it over to the final design team, and then we work on those cards and themes to make sure that there are decks to be played for each of the classes and that they're balanced. And so
just a little translation in Italian.
Sure.
Ok, quindi diciamo il final design si occupa essenzialmente di fare in modo che le carte siano pronte per essere lanciate con l'espansione. So do you also take care of balancing cards, right?
Yes.
What is the most difficult card to balance, not only in Hearthstone in general, but also in this expansion? If you can tell us, because not all of the cards has been released yet, so.
The hardest cards to balance we haven't announced yet, probably. But of the ones that we've announced, one of the ones that was very interesting was Shrivala the Tiger.
Oh, okay.
Originally, that card was a 30 mana 9/6.
And now it is 25, right?
And now it's 25 7/5. And the reason for that was when we were playing it at 30 mana, we had a deck that ran Holy Wrath.
Okay.
And so you could, it was a combo deck where you could put Shrivala back on top of your deck with Baleful Banker and then play Holy Wrath, and then you would do 30 damage.
So you do want to build an archetype for this card, right? Okay.
And then so we thought that was a little too powerful, so we moved the mana down to 25 and then the stats down as well. So that's one of the things we discovered through testing of like, oh, this is a big mana cost, let's try Holy Wrath, see what happens, and then as a result we changed card. She's still very powerful, but
it is.
But it's not a one shot. So.
Ok, quindi la carta che è più stata, diciamo, difficile da bilanciare è stata Cheval the Tiger, che era precedentemente una 30 di mana, adesso è 25, e con Holy Wrath sarebbe stata decisamente troppo forte. We will see also if we have some questions later.
Sure.
What is the I don't know, the the best card for you of the one released yet for the new expansion? The one just like that you like the most.
Oh, I
Not,
really
not only for the power,
Sure.
just for the
I
card itself.
I really like Travala.
Mhm.
Just because there's a lot of different things you can play with her, and she's super fun. But one of the cards I'm most excited that we revealed was Hexlord Malacras,
Okay.
and it's the one where you play Battlecry and you add copies of your opening hand to.
Oh yes, I
to-
like it.
to your hand.
Yeah,
And
it's a
so-
very controlled card, right? Because
it
you
is.
can play it in control decks.
Mhm.
You can hold your initial hand with
Yeah.
AoEs or
Mhm.
removals.
Yep.
And then you can play it and go
Mhm.
back again with that
Yep.
hand. So it's very cool.
It's also very good for having holding legendaries in your opening
Oh,
hand.
yes, it's true.
Because then you get a second copy. And so
Yeah.
what I like about the card is it makes it very interesting when you're making your opening mulligan decision,
Mhm.
because you have to decide if you want to get the low cost cards on curve, or do you want to save some of those cards for value later on?
Sure.
And it's sort of matchup dependent on who you're playing against. If they're playing somebody that is more control deck, then you want to hold the value cards. If you're playing someone
true.
against aggro, then you want to hold the early game and AoE cards.
It's true. It totally changes
Mhm.
the mulligan phase because
Yep.
You have that card. You have to choose
Yep.
what to hold,
Yeah.
what to mulligan.
Exactly.
It's very cool. I like it.
Yep.
Okay, let's see if we have some questions here. What do we have to expect for Hunter for this expansion?
So Hunter has the lower Halazi, and it's all about the lynxes, and there will be some cool synergies with that. The one Hunter card we showed was Baited Arrow, and it's one of
The 1/1.
no.
No.
Oh yeah. Oh, we also showed that one. Okay, so
yeah, the 1 mana 1/1 with rush.
yeah.
You get another
Cool,
minion
cool.
with rush,
Yeah.
right?
So that one's really cool because
Mhm.
it can synergize well with things like Scavenging Hyena. It's sort of
Yeah.
like a Firefly, but it's a beast, and it also has rush. So
Yeah.
it can give you some pretty good early board impact plays, and you can also combo it with things like Kill Command or Hunter's Mark or Scavenging Hyena, and it lends to a good early board centric playstyle. And then we also revealed Baited Arrow, which is one of the new cards that has our new keyword Overkill.
Overkill, yeah, right.
And that one deals 3 damage, and then if you overkill, then you get a 5/5 dinosaur. And so
It's nice.
it really makes it interesting in how you want to be able to do the trades. Like, say if your opponent has a Monotite Totem and you want to remove it, if you just play the spell on it,
You just remove it.
just remove it. It's not that much value.
Yeah.
But you can combine it with something like Elder Stringpaw and play it. Do the 1 damage first, and
then you can use it,
overkill
yes.
it, and
It
you,
is
and you get the
Yeah,
the
it's a
dinosaur.
0/2, so you
Yep.
remove it and you also
Exactly.
spawn the 5/5.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very cool,
So
that card.
It makes your decisions of how to trade interesting in that you want to find the extra damage to be able to do those optimal trades. So
Yeah, there is finally a way to get a bonus from that
Exactly.
from that
Yeah.
point. Okay, what is the card that you enjoyed the most to create in Hearthstone in general, not only with this expansion? So in general, your work in Blizzard.
Oh.
It is a difficult question because you have to see like 1,000 cards, and it is difficult to pick one. But just try.
My favorite one from this set hasn't been shown yet.
Okay.
But I was very excited about Azalina Soul Thief back in the day.
Azalina, wow.
Yeah, she was very cool because I like the idea of having the information of your opponent and
Yeah.
and how you want to play around it, and then they have information as well, and I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, and at the start of the expansion, it did not take so much value in standard mode,
Mhm.
but then we realized that it was a
Mhm.
very good card.
Yep.
Yeah.
From this set, what I'm one of the combinations of the low and the spirit that I'm very excited about was we showed off the low and the spirit for Warlock.
Oh yes.
And so the Warlock one, it sort of is like you're sacrificing to the Bat God, where when your minions die, your a minion in hand gets +1/+1, and then the Hyric the Bat gets benefit from that because
Yeah, it buffs your hand.
no,
It
that one summons copies of itself.
Oh yes, it's
And-
the odd 8 mana 1/1.
Amount of 1/1.
Okay, yes,
So
yes.
so you're essentially feeding Hyrik and making him stronger, and so when you play him, he'll spawn big versions of himself. So I really liked how we were able to capture that synergy there, and it felt very much like something a bat would do, where it's like eating all the other minions, getting stronger, and you have to decide when you want to play them
Yeah.
for maximum value.
And it is a lot of time that you are trying to, I think, build this archetype in which you buffs your warlock minions, because actually the cards that buffs your hand, we have seen Kalizet, but also the warlock spell that buffs the
Soul Infusion.
left hand.
Yeah,
Okay.
Soul Infusion. Yep.
Actually, they are played in Zulok.
hmm
But are you trying to build a new archetype at all? Or you just think that cards are good in Zulok or in some control decks?
I think they're good in Zoo as well, but they're also good in decks that want to play more mid range, because
Yeah.
Hyrik itself is a little bit bigger. So there are certain decks you can build where the focus is just to buff Hyrik. So you may play more spells than minions because you want the target to always hit him. It probably plays more in a wide token style deck instead of straight up big value type Zoo decks. So there'll be more sacrificing of minions, trying to make more tokens and try to take advantage of the spirit from that.
Okay, this is a very good question, I think. How much time is it for creating an expansion?
Okay.
And what is the one that took the most time to create?
They all take about a year from conception, from the idea of what we're going to do as a theme, working through the initial design process, and then the final design process, and then the final art, final sound, final effects, and everything. So it takes about a year from start to finish.
And just because you talked about initial and final process, what is the initial one? What is the final? I mean, what are the phases that characterize the initial process,
Sure.
and so on?
So the initial design team comes up with the initial concept for the set. So it's like the theme and the major mechanics for the set, and the class themes for what we want the classes to do and the types of decks we want those to go for, along with the flavor text, art, VO, and all that. And then the final design team works on polishing the themes for the set, making sure the mechanics make sense and work with everything, making sure that the cards are balanced, making sure that the set is finished and we're able to ship it.
It's like a puzzle, right?
Exactly.
You have to compose all of it.
Final design, a lot of it's just a ton of polish, and is basically taking the set to the point where we are able and happy to ship it as a finished product.
Yeah. And there is a card that you are worried about to ship, actually,
For this set,
for this set, yeah.
we always try to push the boundaries of what we can do, and there are definitely some very exciting cards, and we're excited to see what players have. Obviously, if we thought it's something we shouldn't ship, we wouldn't have shipped it. So we're excited to see what the players come up with and how they want to experiment with all the cards that will come.
Okay, and you have to know that in Italy we have some very amazing fans of Yogg Saron. So the question is, will we have later on a card which is similar in some ways to Yogg? Because Tess, actually, it's not similar, but we can say that it does a lot of things, right? So something like Yogg.
I think we'll have very exciting cards in the set. Yogg was a very exciting card, and we try to do very exciting effects whenever we can. And with us having these Loa and these troll champions, we had a lot of room to try to build a lot into these fantasies of these characters, and we're really excited. There's a lot of cards to still be revealed. So far, we've revealed some really exciting cards like Malacras and Void Contract that the players are talking about right now, and we have a lot to come as well. So,
and do you like this Zandalaris design? Because I am a World of Warcraft player, so trolls are in World of Warcraft, and it is strange that Heroes of Warcraft title has been removed from Hearthstone, but it is for maybe the second, the third time, I don't know, that you released after the removal of the title an expansion which is not based on World of Warcraft, but obviously Rastakan's Rumble takes something from World of Warcraft.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Like when we were deciding a theme for the set, we had a bunch of ideas, and we love trolls, and we've been excited to do a troll expansion for a long time, and it felt like the perfect opportunity to do it with Battle for Azeroth and their focus on having trolls in their expansion as well, and we thought the timing was right where the two things could align, and we could also use these characters that players are familiar with from Warcraft and take a Hearthstone spin on it and see what we could do with them to make them feel special in a Hearthstone sense. And so we thought it was a really good opportunity to tap into that lore and those characters.
So let's say that this expansion is linked to World of Warcraft, and do you plan to release an expansion which is linked to other Blizzard games?
Hearthstone's focused on the Warcraft universe, and there's a lot of different characters and spaces we have yet to explore. The Warcraft universe is very large, and there's a lot of areas that we haven't touched upon yet. So we're very excited to continue to do that.
Okay. Okay, we have a pretty good question about overkill mechanic, about Rastakan's Rumble. So what is the most difficult aspect of overkill to balance?
So what we found with overkill was if we made the damage for the spell or the minion or the weapon too high, then it made the decisions less interesting at times. Because you always got the overkill effect. So
obviously.
So in general, it was kind of similar to how when we did Echo, a lot of the Echo cards ended up being around 2 to 3 mana because it made the most sense for that mechanic. And for overkill, a lot of the damage is generally
for the warrior weapon, it is 4 damage, right?
Yeah. So in general, like 2 to 4 damage felt about right for most of the time, where you're making that decision of, oh, it's exact damage, or it's a little too little, or whatever. And so having it be within that range made the decisions better. I mean, there may be some overkill cards that are very big and have big effects where the overkill outcome is more reliable, but we tried to keep an eye on that so that the decisions were still really interesting across all the cards that have overkill.
And a question about overkill, because I didn't understand about it. When you kill a minion and you activate your overkill, you can activate only once again, or if you remove another minion, you get another overkill.
If you activate it again on the second minion, so for Stealth Race, for example, it has 4 attack and 4
health, for integrity,
for durability, and if your opponent plays, say, Emerald Spellstone, and they have 3 wolves that are all 3/3. If you attack the first one, overkill will happen, and you can attack again. And then
the second one.
And then the second one, you can attack the second wolf.
Okay,
and then you can attack again.
You continuously activate overkill.
And then after the third one, and they're out of minions, you hit their face.
Okay.
You get all the charges out.
You can do 16 damage in a row.
Exactly.
Okay, nice.
But you have to keep overkilling the minions.
Sure. Okay, a question about tournament mode, which is a feature that all of us are really excited about, but you just said that it took a lot of time to be revealed, right? So are you working on it, or you're stuck?
So what happened with tournament mode was we announced it so early on, and the expectations from the players and the feedback we got for what players wanted started diverging from what we were building, and the gap got so large that we realized that what we were working on would not meet the expectations of what the community wanted. And so we put tournament mode on indefinite hold because we need to revisit, to figure out what the best experience is for tournament mode that will make everyone happy. And it's something that it was a difficult decision, but we think overall it'll be better for the game in the
To
long run.
wait, yeah. Okay. And will we ever see another class in Hearthstone? Because we have 9 classes from the start, right?
Mhm.
So, do you think about creating a new one, maybe with another expansion, or you think we are good with 9 classes?
We're happy with 9 classes.
Okay.
When we did Knights of the Frozen Throne, we had talked about
Creating a Death Knight.
would it make sense to make a Death Knight, and ultimately we decided that it made more sense to do the Death Knight cards, where you can live the fantasy of being a Death Knight, but not add a Death Knight class, because if we there are a lot of complexities to adding a class in Hearthstone, and we're happy with the 9 classes.
Sorry, guys, we will not have a panda class, right? I won it. Um, okay, this is a good question. I don't know if you can talk about it, but Rastakan will be a card, and it will be playable like Lich King, or not?
I
I
can't
mean-
talk about it.
Okay.
We haven't shown all the cards yet.
Yeah.
We still have a lot to review, and I don't want to ruin any surprises.
And when does the reveal will start? Like now? Like in some days?
We showed cards in the opening ceremony,
Yeah.
and then we showed cards in the What's Next panel. I'm not sure when the card reveal season starts. There may be information about it on the blog. I'm not exactly sure
Okay.
when the additional cards will start being revealed, but it'll happen soon. The expansion comes out on December 4th, so
We
the-
just have to wait.
yeah, exactly.
At the end of the year, the decay cards will be playable only wild, right? Because we will have the rotation
The rotation will happen at the start of
of the next
next
year.
year.
Yeah,
Yes.
and there will be the possibility to see some cards like decays in the next expansions, like cards focused for specific classes.
I'm not sure.
Because I mean, now we have loas, which
Yes.
are cards specific for each class.
Yes.
You can play it, and
The-
they are on board. But do
legendary
you
cards, yeah.
do you plan to modify the hero again like you did before?
Oh, like we did for the
Yeah,
Death Knights. I see.
yes.
It really depends on what we're going for. The Death Knights were really cool, and as a result of the Death Knights, we realized that the players really enjoy hero cards, and so we made Hagatha and we made Dr. Boom. And if it makes sense for the set, then it's something we will explore. But if it doesn't, then we won't. So it really depends on the type of expansion that we're trying to make, and the types of mechanics that we think make sense for that expansion.
Okay. And are you happy about Boomsday Project? How did it go?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I was super excited to release the Boomsday Project. It was one of my favorite sets to work on, and it just has a lot of fun vibe, and the characters in it were very exciting.
It is
The-
Dr. Boom.
It's Dr.
Yeah.
Boom. The art is amazing. Like
Yeah.
it's super vibrant and really out there, and there are a lot of cool themes that we were able to explore in it, like the legendary spells and the and magnetic, and it had a lot of fun things going on with it, and a ton of cool cards. So I'm super excited. I was super happy with it.
You happy also with the meta? Because I've seen a lot of people talking about a meta which is not, I mean, it's balanced, but it's not so different from Witchwood. So we have seen different decks,
Mhm.
but not all of them are good in standard. For example, the Pogo Hopper Rogue,
Sure.
you presented during the live stream, right?
Yeah,
But I also thought about it, and I think that it could be a very good
Mhm.
deck, like the Quest Rogue did before, but it didn't. It wasn't so good. So, are you happy with it?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
think that Pogo Hopper Rogue we will see it in future?
I'm not sure about that. Maybe not. We do provide support for previous decks with specific cards from time to time. I think that overall with the meta, we were pretty happy with it because, like you said, it's balanced and there's a lot of diversity, and players can play the class of their choosing, and there are various options within each of the classes that you can explore and try and do well with. And so I think there are a lot of options, and there's been a lot of changes that we've seen throughout the meta across the various weeks. that they've had, and in addition, when we did the balance changes, the meta has continued to shift, and we're seeing changes every week of players experimenting with different types of decks and different types of archetypes, and the being seeing so many different classes being played is
It's good.
It's-
It's good. But there
it's
is
very
also the druid, which has a lot of decks
It does.
playable.
It does.
And are you happy with it, or you didn't think that it could be possible to see like 4 or 5 decks very good tier 1 in standard?
So we're always happy to see when there are multiple decks that can be played for a particular class. Druid has a lot of very good decks, but so does Warlock, and so does other classes like Hunter and so on. There are a lot of different archetypes that players want to explore. There are a lot of different types of decks that can be viable, and seeing the experimentation of the players to try out different things to try to combat the meta or do something their own style. We're starting to see a lot of ebb and flow of the different decks coming into and out of the meta. After the rotation, we started seeing more even Shaman, even Paladin again, and some other decks that went out of the meta previously, and players are starting to come back. And there are definitely different tweaks within a lot of these different decks that are using some of the newer cards, and it's really cool to see players experiment with these different tools that they have available to them.
And what is the? I don't know if I already asked you about it, but what is the most difficult class to balance?
I don't think
In
there's
your opinion, obviously.
I don't think there's a particular class is more difficult to balance than
No?
others.
Okay.
I think just overall there are cards that are difficult to balance, in particular because of the specific designs on them that take more effort. But overall, I think all the classes feel about the same when we're going through and trying to modify the numbers to try to find the balance. It's more so particular designs than particular classes.
Okay. Also, in arena, it's difficult to balance, right? Because I think that mage and paladin in general have very good hero powers.
Mm-hmm.
So that is also another difficult thing to do, to balance the arena.
Sure.
Yeah, because you have to release cards, but you have like 3 different sections of the game. So
Yes.
the play mode, the
Mhm.
competitive one,
Yep.
the arena, and so on.
Yeah,
So it's very difficult.
and for arena, we take different approaches on how we balance arena versus how we balance constructed. For arena, a lot of it's based off of the power of the cards, but in addition, the pick rates and
Yeah.
there's a lot of different formulas that we use for arena to tweak it
Yeah.
differently than how we do it for constructed.
You can insert a very low pick rate for a very good
Mhm.
card, right? So you can
Mhm.
balance it in that way.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
nice. Okay, do you plan to? This is a question that I wanted to do because do you plan to do another mode like standard wild and another one? Maybe not now, but in future. Do you think that we will need to have another section for very old cards and maybe inserting in wild only like the latest 4 years expansion, something like that?
It's something that we're gonna have to wait and see and decide what makes the most sense for the game in the long term. I don't have any details of anything about that to discuss now,
Okay.
but it's definitely something that's always on our mind, and it's something that we're always going to be considering.
Okay, okay. What is your guys? We have in front of us the global games, right?
Oh yeah.
You probably cannot see it, but it's very cool. And what is your favorite team about global games?
I mean, America, U.S.,
Yeah, America,
but
right.
they didn't happen to make it, so
Yeah.
I was a little sad. I'm actually really good friends with a lot of the players on there, so I was
Yeah.
definitely rooting for that. And I'm from America, so I have to root for that.
Mine is Italy, but we were unlucky. So for the second time actually, but we have really good players in
Oh,
Italy.
for
yeah.
sure, for sure.
Yeah. Ok ragazzi, se avete altre domande fate pure.
This is my favorite tavern brawl. I love this brawl.
Let's do it.
It's so
do
fun.
it.
It's so fun.
Deck assemble. All of Azeroth wants to brawl for you. Start with a small deck, recruit as you go, then send them to flight over and over. And yesterday I tried the Rastakan's Rumble brawl.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
What did you think?
It's nice because you have 9 different classes and 9 different laws, 9 different spirits, and every time you can have to check your Loa on the board and also the opponent one.
Yeah.
So the gameplay is totally different every time, and I think it is really cool.
Cool.
But I also preferred and would have liked to try the single mode version.
Sure.
And unfortunately, I have not the opportunity to do it.
We wanted to give a bit of a teaser for the single player mode from Raskan's Rumble, the Rumble run, and we just wanted to showcase a bit of the shrines that the players will be able to play with in that mode. And we're gonna have more details about the single player today at 4:30. There's a panel.
Oh yes, there is a panel with Dave Kozak, and I don't remember the other one, but
and
I will be there obviously.
And Giovanni and Paul, and it has a ton of information about that, and it also talks a bit about the history of the puzzles from Boomsday and also the Monster Hunt and the Dungeon Run. So
yes, I had the opportunity yesterday to talk with Dave Kozak and Adisha Chamberlain.
Oh, awesome.
And it was really nice because we also talked about puzzle labs and so on. So
Yep.
it was really cool. Okay, we have another nice casting before starting it.
Sure.
The third expansion in general, so this year is Rastakan's Rumble, but in general is often the one with the most powerful and defining cards of the whole year.
Okay.
So what are the challenges to create exciting cards but also to balance it? So there is a gap between balancing cards and releasing. So
Yep. One of the things we look at and consider a lot is, are these the right designs for this particular set? And because they'll be existing for less time than they would at the start of the year, and it's definitely a consideration. A lot of times we try to explore different archetypes than the ones that currently exist, but it also gives us an opportunity sometimes where, because we know that this set will only exist with one of the previous one for one expansion cycle, we can do a combination that might be a little too strong for the long run, but for that one cycle, it feels really fun to be able to combine those two for that set, and then have it rotate. So it's definitely very interesting, and it's definitely something we have to consider for each of the sets, because the types of designs we want to do on the first year set versus middle versus late does change a bit depending on what we're trying to go for each of the expansions.
And a casting that I also made yesterday was about, are you fine with 3 expansion at year, or do you think that maybe 4 or less are the best?
I think overall we're pretty happy with the cadence that we have.
3 expansion.
It gives players time to enjoy the expansions that we have, the expansion we have now, play through it, and be able to explore the different options, and then not get too overwhelmed if there are more than that. If there were less than that, then it might feel like we're not releasing content fast enough. And so far we've been very happy with the 3 expansion cadence.
Nice, thank you. Let's start this brawl.
Okay.
Come on. Okay. Which class do you want to use?
Whichever you want.
No, you choose. It's your.
So it honestly, it doesn't matter that much because of the way the brawl works, where you will be discovering your card and it rotates back in your deck.
Okay.
We could try something with board value, so maybe something like Rogue or Paladin or Mage or Shaman.
Okay,
or
we can use Paladin.
Sure, let's do Paladin. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember the first time I played this brawl, I played it so much. I had so many wins with this brawl because it's just really fun. So the way the brawl works is it's a deck building brawl. So you're building your deck as you go.
Oh, I remember about it, and you change your hand every time, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's quite fun.
We have a master of this brawl here, so I will follow you.
Actually, I just remembered one of my favorite ways to play this brawl is with Warlock, because discarding cards in this brawl is very powerful.
Okay.
Because you
okay.
want to discard your chickens so you can
Yeah.
get more impact cards over and
Sure.
over again. So if we have time for a second game, we should try Warlock.
We can try Warlock, yes.
Yeah.
We have like 15 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, a nice chicken here. Pick a new card for your hand. Wow,
Ooh.
Uther. It's very cool, but it
Uther is very
turn
cool.
9.
We should pick Uther, I think.
I think so, because
I
the
think
other
we'll
one are
live
really
there.
bad.
The other ones are not as
Yeah.
good as Uther.
Just
Like, we
hold it.
can't pass on Uther,
Yeah.
obviously. So the thing about this is at the end of the turn, you're gonna lose all your cards, and then they're gonna
Yeah.
go back on your deck. So you want to play all your cards out.
Okay, so we
So
just play chicken,
Let's just
coin,
play chicken, coin, chicken.
Yeah, go.
And then we can buff one of the chickens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Uther.
Yep. But it gets shuffled back in your deck.
Okay. Okay, so Uther is now here.
Yes.
Nice.
So we'll probably draw him on the next turn.
In the meantime, I just check if we have other questions. Okay, this was actually a good question also for Dave Kozak, but I didn't have so much time to ask about it.
Okay.
I just try to ask you about PvE in general.
Uh-huh.
PvE in general and single player modes. I think that a lot of players just play it one time just to achieve the card back, and then they stop.
Okay.
Do you think that there are some ways to make this mode more playable and more times? Like I don't know, introducing some quests, or like doing one time a week your single player mode, you get a reward, something like that. You think that there are ways to do it?
There are definitely ways to do it.
In the meantime, we can take, I don't know, I don't know if he's gonna play some weapons,
Maybe.
but if we have to play all the end, probably a
Sure.
Urgent Protector
Yeah,
is,
let's do
is
that.
better. So we can play chicken, coin. Oh no, we
Chicken,
have to-
coin, protector.
We can
Probably.
coin protector. Yes.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so let's get back to the question.
So there are a few ways currently where we have some of the quests that ask you to revisit some of the old PvE content. I think there's opportunities to have them be replayable as well. So for the dungeon runs and the monster runs, we saw a lot of people replaying them, and even the puzzles sometimes, where you've completed the puzzles and then you go back and you try. I forgot the answer. And
Yeah.
and you
you
might
tried.
and you try, and you might find a different solution as well. So there, I think it's definitely replayable for particularly the monster hunt and the dungeon runs. It's definitely replayable for the players that want to replay them. But also having that short experience for the players that don't necessarily want to stay in that mode is an option. So we try to make sure that it's a fun experience for everyone.
Yeah.
But we know that it's not always the type of content that every player wants to do.
Yeah.
So
I see. Okay, we have mostly horror here, which is really cool, I think. For the 16 run split run friendly minions. I don't know.
for this particular turn, Shield Bearer is the best one actually.
yeah, because we have to play everything you said.
and you can buff it with the Whirling
Yeah,
Blade, which
nice.
is pretty cool.
Okay, so we just play it.
Yeah. Chicken,
Chicken
and then
buff
buff.
the
Yeah,
0-4.
that seems cool.
Okay, and we just pass.
Yes. See, and now it trades with both of the things
Yeah.
on the board.
Let's see if we can win. I already asked about it, guys. There is again a question about how many time do you spend to create an
Oh, yeah.
expansion.
Yeah. It's about a year.
Yeah. Oh, okay. A question which is about card backs, but also hero skins.
Okay.
So, do you think that in future will you implement a way to like buy older skins or to have again older card backs?
That's not something that I work
Wow,
on.
Whizbang.
Oh, cool. Get Whizbang. I think
Uh,
Whizbang might be okay. It's either the Whizbang or the taunt, probably. Probably Whizbang, because you can just play it right now.
yeah, because this is gonna remove everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe.
I don't know which. This is a very bad turn because
I
we
kind of
cannot
want to
remove.
play Whizbang just to see his come into play effect. We don't get to do that very often.
Or we can play the Primal Fin Lookout and just play another chicken
Oh.
because you can trade.
My vote's for Whizbang, because he's cool.
Whizbang, okay, it's cool. Let's play it. And we trade this one.
Yeah. Look at that effect. It's awesome with the rainbows.
It's fine. Okay. So let's get back to the question.
Sure.
And we said, will you try to implement a way to get this reward or not?
I can't talk about future stuff. We know it's something that players have asked for, and it's something we've talked about on the team. It's not really the area that I work on, so I can't really
Yeah.
talk towards it.
Because I know that in World of Warcraft we have they are called Fest of Strengths.
Oh, okay.
They were called Fest of Strengths that are
The achievements, yeah.
achievements that
Yep.
you cannot learn anymore,
Mhm.
or that are very unique. For
Mhm.
example, you beat a boss for the first time in
Yep.
your server, and you get that achievement. So
Yep.
probably also on Hearthstone, Blizzard think that a content like a card back is
Mhm.
unique. For example, a card back that you get on December 2017,
There's-
and you do not earn it again.
Exactly. Like, there's definitely pros and cons to doing something like that, where the players that have the card back or that got it during that time, by offering it again, would devalue it for those players. And
Yeah.
but then on the flip side, for the players that didn't get a chance to have it, then like it's a missed opportunity. So there's definitely pros and cons on both sides. So it's something we have to consider to see what makes sense. So yeah. I don't really have anything to talk about
Okay.
for that.
We just can play or Call to Arms or Consecration, I think, because this is not so good. What do you want to pick?
Let's do Call to Arms.
Call to Arms.
Let's
and
play
we
right now.
Play, yeah.
Get
Go,
some
go.
chickens. Yeah.
Wow.
Look at that. Chickens.
We need more time to play the Uther.
We just need to get to Uther,
Yeah.
and then we'll be very, very good.
And about nerfs, I think that there is. I mean, when we see that a card is very powerful, like let's say Shadowrook, okay.
Okay.
Shadowrook was really powerful, and as soon as the expansion was released, everyone talked about it. Oh, it's too powerful and so on. But it took a lot of time to nerf it, and also for other nerfs in general. So why it took so much time to nerf a card?
What nerf did we do?
For Shadowwork, it's not a nerf, but you change the time, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, the animation.
The animation.
Okay.
But in general, with nerfs in general, okay.
Oh, sure.
The latest that you did and so on.
The Gig Inventor, yep.
For example, Mana Wyrm, which is
Sure.
a card that you
Mana
nerfed
Wyrm, yep.
right now,
Mhm.
but has been so long that Mana Wyrm was released because it was from the beta.
Mhm.
So why it took a lot of time to nerf it?
It's one of those things where we look at how it impacts the longevity of the game, and also the immediate impact that it has. And as the game evolves, as more cards get added, as things change, the relative power level of cards changes as well.
Okay.
So where you might have a card that is not very powerful in a particular meta, or with various cards, as
Okay.
more cards get added and more synergies with that card come into play, then the power level of that card changes without the card itself changing.
Yeah,
And
you wait
so
for the very good moment to
exactly.
nerf it, yeah.
And so for certain cards, when we think it's the right time to change it. For example, Giggling Inventor, we thought it was too strong and in too many decks, and it was starting to have a negative impact on the game, and so we made a change. And so for Mono Worm, we think overall it will make the game better in the long run, and so we wanted to make a change that it was arguably the most powerful one drop,
Okay.
and with that card it would snowball out of control fairly easily if your opponent didn't have removal for it early on, and we wanted to limit that type of gameplay. So by moving it to 2 mana, it gives your opponent a bit more time to be able to react to it.
Okay. Will this end?
Deathwing. Do we have
We
time?
can. I don't know, because it is a very good board.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
if
the
we
maul?
play Voodoo, no.
Maybe the weapon?
We cannot play Call to Arms and Weapon, unfortunately. But it's fine. If you want, we can take more.
Or we can take Deathwing.
We can take that win, right?
Because when you have Deathwing in this deck, you're going to be able to Deathwing almost every turn.
Oh, it's so we basically remove everything.
Yes.
And we play Call to Arms again.
Sure. We just have to live to Deathwing, and then we're going to win.
Yeah.
Oh, we have nothing. Oh, no. Shield Bearer, protect us.
I don't know if we can win this one.
We might not be able to.
Um,
Wait. Oh. We need to get Uther.
and
We have 2 turns to get
since
Uther.
we talked about Giggling Inventor, you knew before releasing that card that you wanted to nerf it in future, or you just waited?
No. if we knew we wanted to nerf it in the future, we would have
Just do not.
we would just put it at the numbers that we thought made sense. We usually aim for cards to be a specific power level for what makes sense for the design, and occasionally we'll miss by 10% on one side or the other, or sometimes we hit it right. And in the case of Giggling Inventor, it was a bit more powerful than we had anticipated, and so and that's why we made the change. We don't intentionally release cards that we know we're gonna nerf later, because we could just
also because Giggling Inventor was a card in a lot of decks,
Mhm.
so probably
Exactly.
that was the problem. The main
exactly.
problem. We have not Deathwing, but we cannot play it, so I don't know. How can we survive?
We need Nesting Rock and maybe Dark Conviction, because you can make this guy into a 3/3.
Okay.
So we can try that.
Yeah.
It's probably still not enough. We're probably still gonna die, but
Also because we can buff, so we can.
so yeah, we can kill that one.
Yeah.
So let's try that.
we can
think
buff it.
And
Right.
I think we're still dead though.
Yeah, we are dead.
It's okay.
It is unfortunate because we had Deathwing, we had Uther.
We just needed. See, this next turn would have been amazing.
Yeah, unlucky. Wow.
We just
Drawing
couldn't.
that
We just couldn't get there.
Come on, let me win.
It's just a little too much pressure.
Let me win. No.
Oh, he's got it.
Well, it's fine. Okay. Okay, I do not think we have more time to
No.
play or do question again, but I really want to thank you, because
Okay.
it was a really great opportunity for me and also for the Italian community. Thank
Awesome.
you so much
Yeah.
to reply to all of our questions.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for letting me hop on your stream for a while.
Whoa, no problem.
It's been really fun, and I hope everyone's very excited for the new expansion.
Yeah,
Rascal's
too.
Rumble comes out on December 4th. Some of the cool things are when it comes out and you log in, we're gonna give you 6 packs from Rastakon, and you'll also get one of the legendary Loa and 2 of the spirits that are associated with the Loa. So you'll have that combo as a starting point where you can try it out and explore some of the new mechanics right away. So
yeah, and I
it's
have
pretty
also
exciting.
seen that there is a new skin with the pre-order, right?
Oh yeah,
It's really cool.
and we also have 2 bundles. One
The smaller one,
the-
which has not the skin.
Yeah, it doesn't have the skin, but it has a card back. It has a card
Yes.
back and packs. It's the Challengers bundle, and then also the Rusticon bundle that has the Rusticon hero skin.
Yeah.
And also packs and the card back as well. So
Okay.
cool.
Nice. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.